Tang 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 tang. It's roll after midnight. Ram. Oh, welcome to another episode of Roro After Midnight. Every night at 12:01 a.m. Central, 1:01 a.m. Eastern, and 10:01 p.m. Pacific. That's 10:01 LA, midnight, a little after midnight. That's why it's Roro After Midnight, Chicago, and 1:01 in New York. Okay, just to let you know, there's the name of my show. And then there's the info about my show. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Roro the Tenor. And if you feel very generous, send me some 50 cents on Venmo at Roro the Tenor as well. Oh, anyway, so before we start with our show, we always like to start our segment with the joke of the day. The joke of the day is because of our guest tonight. This is tailored to her. Why do ballerinas dance on their toes? So they don't wake up the audience. Shh. And what is our pickup line of the day? Our pickup line of the day is, are you from Korea? Because you could be my soulmate. Oh, hey. Like I said, every time, joke and pickup line of the day, generously donated by my husband, Steven. Follow him on Instagram at Steve Areno Hunter. And as always, please don't forget to wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands, especially when you go out of your room, your apartment, your condo, your building, even if you're going on the hallways, okay? So, with that said, I'd like to introduce one of my really good friends. He is an accomplished ballet dancer, a company dancer at the Joffrey Ballet. And we met in 2014. And she, like I said, she is a regular at Joffrey Ballet. She lives here in Chicago. Oops. Oh no, what am I doing? This is a one-man producing thing. I'd like to introduce to you the one, the only, Christine Rocas, Ballerina Filipina. Warm applause, please. Warm applause.
Hi, Rodel.
Hi, how are you? Okay, I have to put our names now there because, hi. So, first of all, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in Aventura, Florida for my holiday vacation.
Ah, it's a little holiday
Mm.
vacation. And you're going to
Mhm.
be back in Chicago when?
The 6th of June in 21.
Yes. And just to remind everyone, if you like everything about this show tonight, which you should because it'll be disrespectful to my female guest, you could follow Christine on Instagram at Christine Rocas. So make sure you get the name right, okay? So our show starts with Roro and Christine, okay?
Mhm.
So just show some pictures here. This is how we met. We did a fundraising concert we were part of a fundraiser in Washington, D.C. We performed at the Kennedy Performing Arts Center with a few people. Let me just show them first here, and then I'll ask you questions. So
Yeah.
there it is. So I know she's right there. Just second line, second picture. However, this is a clearer picture. There it is. So if you notice, there were in our concert, there was Apple Diep from Black Eyed Peas. Joshua Bell didn't show up. You didn't hear that from me. And then Charisse, formerly known as Charisse, was there. Darren Chris. And there she is, Christine Rocas. So anyway, the reason why I said that is we met there. What was your first impression of me? Do you remember when you met me?
Yeah, I remember because it was just after my stage rehearsal actually. It was the day of the show and we had the afternoon to rehearse a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
were the first guest artist that I saw and you were in one of the front rooms in the backstage area and I saw you and I thought I'd introduce myself. My first impression was that you had a lot of energy. Like you had a lot of
Yeah.
energy.
Can you
Um,
tell?
but I have to say though that when Joshua Bell didn't show up, and that's exactly how I met my husband. I met my husband at the same benefit I met you. So the Philippe Quint,
Oh,
who was the person who was in for Joshua Bell, is now my husband. How
I
sweet.
wish. Oh my god, I know. And then like he stepped in to perform the same time he stepped in
Yeah.
your. Oh, so sweet. Oh my god, I'm gonna burst. I'm sorry.
Um,
So
okay. Yeah.
what else? Oh, and then just a little bit here, and this is a picture of us meeting each other for the first time. Look at me. I mean, look at her.
With my eyes closed.
And she actually
I
performed.
remember I remember your hair being much taller than that.
See, everybody know. Oh, well, the pandemic is the total opposite for me. I cut it off because there's no way. It's like if you actually, hey Christine, if you actually move to your left so that they could see you more. There you go. So basically, yeah, my hair has always been long, and because of the pandemic, I had to cut it because it's so much. It's easier for men at least to keep it short, and then we just have to.
Yeah, I imagine that.
Before I have to use shampoo and then soap. Now I can just use Dove on my head. It's not gonna. I don't know, but this is it. It's a cool place. And then after the show, Christine met my mom, and there's Steven. This was 2014. This is months before we got married. And I even asked you to record. Remember, I asked you to record, like
Oh yeah.
yes, you were part of that recording. I surprised Steven with, and then
Uh-huh.
this is back in 2014, and then this one is in earlier this year when
Yeah,
2020 was
before
good.
yeah.
This is during when I was in Lyric for Butterfly and my mom visited. It was her oh my god. It was her 17th birthday, I think. 17th because she's a leap year baby. And we
Yeah.
went to this Rotary Sushi on Broadway, just north of Belmont. Now,
Belmont, yeah.
so talk about this. This is now a what is that? A promotion ad that I'm going to show to everyone of
Mm-hmm.
Swan Lake, that was performed in Joffrey Ballet. I hope you like it. It's awesome. Now that we got a little background of how we know each other, now I get to interview her. So this section is called "There's No Place Like Home." So basically, I'm gonna ask you to tell us
Yeah.
about where you're from in the Philippines, for in case Filipinos will be watching this later on. Where are you born
Mm-hmm.
and raised? Where you, in the Philippines, and tell us about your family, maybe where they're from, or if you have any relatives in anywhere like the U.S. or everywhere in Europe. So everything about you as a person, and
All
go.
right. So I was born in San Diego. It was one of the like unforeseen advantages of my life that my mom decided to give birth in San Diego. And then I grew up in the Philippines. I grew up in Sampaloc, Manila. If anyone here knows about the Philippines, Sampaloc, Manila. And when I was a teenager, about 17 or 16, we moved to Las Piñas. So still within the Metro Manila, urban center, but a little bit south of that. My parents still live in Las Piñas. My brother lives in Birmingham, Alabama, who's also a ballet dancer and who's now gotten into woodworking. So, um, if you happen to see anything on my Instagrams, a little bit of his woodwork would be on there, and it's really beautiful. He's super talented. I'm really proud of him. So my parents are still in Las Piñas. My dad comes from Cagayan Valley, very up north of the Philippines, and my mom grew up in Batangas, just a couple hours from the Metro Manila Center. Um, I have a big family, especially on my mom's side. She has 10 siblings. All nine are actually in California. So she's the only person left back in the Philippines. And so all of them are in California. And my dad's siblings are just like kind of scattered. Not as big as my mom's family. Oh, which by the way, hi Ma, hi Dad. I told them too
Aw,
much today. I told them too much. So I
yeah.
hope they're here tuning in. Yeah, so that's my life. I left the Philippines when I was 18, turning nine. No, actually I had just turned 19 when I moved to Chicago, straight out from the Philippines. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about school. I put this. Stay in school. So where'd you go
Stay
to
in school. All
yeah, so
right.
where'd you go
So,
you went so you said you went to school, you were in the Philippines and grew up like where'd you go to high school? Just, mention us where you went to high school and then when you went to college and later on did the training.
okay. So, high school, let's do elementary. Elementary school, I went to Holy Spirit school in Quezon City. It's run by nuns. Philippines, a very Catholic nation. High school, University of Santo Tomas, which is great because it's within walking distance from our home. It's perfect. I did a very little bit of college, and that was at the De La Salle University, which was also convenient because it's very close to where I dance. As far as training goes, my very first ballet school that I attended was the Candy Africa Piedad Ballet School. I was there with her for 3 years, but very like not serious at all. I was a gymnast, and it was part of my cross training. So on and off. When I started really being serious about ballet was when I became a full scholar with the Ballet Manila School under Lisa Makuha Elizalde. Yeah, that's my training.
Makuha. Yeah, by the way, Lisa
Mm,
Makuha is a very prominent figure in Philippine entertainment industry.
Philippine,
So
yeah, yeah,
so yes, you have
absolutely.
I think it's Lisa Makuha is Macuja, correct?
Correct.
Yes. So Google her, Lisa Makuha, and you'll know all about her. So basically, she actually you actually studied with her.
Yeah, I studied with her. I remember. Okay, so like my mom found in the newspaper that there was auditions being held in this ballet school that's by Lisa Makua. And also it's convenient because it was literally like a block and a half away from my gymnastics. So I was doing rhythmic gymnastics at
Oh
a
wow.
time, and I was already in the national team then, and I was doing all these like international competitions, already getting paid by the government. So it was pretty cool. And just bringing those two worlds closer together just really helped me with scheduling, even though there were still a lot of conflicts and they were both mad at me at some point.
So now so when there's a will, there's a way. So after school, after your training, you
Hmm.
started traveling for different reasons. I guess did you only travel to compete, or did you also travel to study? So to outside of the Philippines. So tell us this like determination to branch out of a small bubble that is within the Philippines and to actually be recognized internationally. So tell us your experience on that.
So, but with Ballet Manila school, we brand there's a Ballet Manila company that we can all kind of go up the ladder on. So after my training, I started getting promoted into the company, and Ballet Manila has, and especially Mom Lise, she has always been a huge advocate for exposure. So she has always been the one to initiate sending out people for competitions, and we have been training and rehearsing under like the strict Paganova method that she brought from Russia, and it's a great foundation for ballet, and we're really proud of that. So we're also not very we won't shy away from an opportunity to expose that there is good dance in the Philippines. So I was one of the people that she had sent out for competitions. So yes, to answer your question, it's mostly to just compete. And there was this one year when there was a dance festival in Aberdeen, Scotland, where there's a little bit of an intensive, like a dance intensive, where myself and another dancer from Ballet Manila, we were sent there. And for 2 weeks, we were learning, or not 2 weeks, maybe a few weeks. We were learning three different pieces, three different dance styles, and at the end of the festival, we got to perform them. So that was really cool. That was like my like really my only learning experience outside of Ballet Manila
Yeah. So and
before Joffrey.
now and then I call this I won because I read the bio. It's like competitions is not all about it's like what you say. You did it. The cool thing about doing competitions is, and in any discipline is, it's not about just winning. It's about exposure. It's about sharing what you have, because a lot of people are recognized and actually noticed, and then they can
Mm-hmm.
see potential in all of us. So at some point, give us there's a specific award that you I know you place at the Helsinki. Um, yeah,
So
that
I was a semi-finalist at Helsinki, and then it was actually in the New York International Ballet Competition that I did win a silver medal and was awarded the Arpino Award, which was equivalent to a year contract with the Joffrey Ballet.
wow. And was that the first time you got into the Joffrey Ballet, was through that award?
Yes, yeah, that was the moment that I would say changed my life forever.
Okay, and then this which bleeds in. Oh, so gross. Bleeds in. Oh,
Mm.
I'm wearing white. I can't. What bleeds into this? God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. She got it, ladies and gentlemen. So
Mhm.
having is it you said an internship with Joffrey?
No, it
No,
was
no,
straight. It was a contract right away. So
it was a contact. There you go.
I
So
go in there as a company artist
yeah.
already.
So when you went in as a company artist, this is where I'm gonna. That's why I put that. I hope I get it. Is when you entered there, when you have a contract, now you're a company artist. Um, how is the process? Are people uh, equally given parts, or are parts where you get to do leads and they get to do supporting, or are there always people who will always stay doing supporting and always be given priority over leading roles? So I want to know more about how you get it. That's why I said you got it. I mean, you've done a few lead roles there. So tell us about that with Joffrey Ballet specifically.
So Joffrey Ballet is quite unique in the dance world because we don't have ranks. So in a lot of ballet companies, you're ranked from corps de ballet to soloist, and then like I don't know, like and then a principal. With and then roles are given to those categories. So like lead roles will usually automatically go to principals or soloists, and then the supporting roles usually always go to like soloist and corps de ballet.
Yeah.
But what's really great with the Joffrey is that we don't have ranks. So what's interesting is that especially when I got to Joffrey, all the dancers were so diverse in in body type, diverse in movement, and and so the theory was that every single company artist can can stand on their own and be principal artists at any given ballet. So it's really just a matter of like if a
That's
person
good to
comes
know.
in and cast their ballet, you could really pick anyone in in the roster of artists and be able to really build up a ballet from that.
That is really nice to hear. I mean,
Yeah,
I wish that applied gets applied to even opera, because everything is so visual. What is that? Image conscious with opera. It's like,
right.
oh, you don't have to. It's like this. Well, you don't have to be skinny or something. However, you have to have a certain height. You know what? It's like, oh, you have to have a
Yeah.
height. No, it's things like that. But with ballet, of course, there's uh, although I haven't really seen someone who's like 4 feet 9. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
when you said, oh, it's different body types, it's nice then
Yeah.
people aren't forced to weigh in. They don't have to worry too much about, like, oh my
Mm.
God, weighing in, because we've seen these movies where it does that. And sadly, that's real. The weigh-ins
Yeah.
are real.
Well, here's the thing. We have to take movies with a grain of salt. Well, maybe
Okay.
with like a full cup of salt, maybe. I mean,
That's a lot of salt.
I have to say a lot of these like ballet movies can be cringeworthy, to be honest. But you know, things are in there because it's happened in the past. But I'm really happy that I think the dance is moving forward, and I think the whole world is moving forward. So even if it's maybe small steps to some, I think a lot of us appreciate it, especially because if we can see it
Here's my
every
question
day.
about here's my question about image, because I took dance history back in college, back in 1996, 97.
Mm.
That's the cool thing about being Filipino, at least being Asian, is like, I can tell you exactly what year or how. I am 45 years old, and I
How
look
come
like
I
I'm
don't have
4 feet
that?
5. Look, I'm 45, but I look like I'm 4 feet 5 right now. I don't have a body, it's just a head and a dress. Is From what I learned from dance history, is they never really they weren't really never concerned about body types, because I remember, first of all, I think, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, like the first ballet dancer was this Maria Taglioni. I may be wrong.
Hmm.
And then that ballet didn't start in France, it started in Italy, and then it went to France. That's why all the terms are in French, because those are
Hmm.
like, oh my God, that's why they called it prima ballerina. It's in Italian, because that was the
Right.
origin, even though it
Hmm.
was cultivated more by the French and the Russian. Now, they
Right.
said that it wasn't until Balanchine came in that suddenly, is that true, that it changed, that he changed
The
how,
aesthetic of
yes,
ballet.
of like, oh, now everyone has to be skinny. Is that
Um, I mean, Balanchine is Russian, so I think maybe like I have not had any dance history background. All the information I know is like just like hand me downs and like
yes,
a little bit of like research, but not so
yeah,
intensely. Like information wasn't given to me like in a dance history class.
yes,
But we have to acknowledge that Balanchine is Russian, and I think that Russia has become like the a great nation for ballet, and
yeah,
a lot of the classical ballets, like you look to Russian dancers and
I
Russian
agree.
companies. And
Yeah,
I think that with a lot of the full length ballets, like the Swan Lakes, the Giselles, like there is an aesthetic that I
exactly.
think
That
you
you got
think
a
would
point
be
there,
pleasing,
because there are,
because
yeah,
it's like how many, like 36 swans, and you kind of want them to look alike in a big
exactly.
clump of the
And I think
same
you made
person.
a good point, because there are some works, most of the modern works was based on those kind of aesthetic. Because back in the day, when they did all these really older ones, it was because it was to show. strength in women, and a lot of these women's in the, I want the viewers to Google the history of ballet. You will see these older ballet dancers, the original ones. They are muscular. They have they
Yeah.
are huge
Mm-hmm.
muscles, and they like very curvy. It wasn't like
Curvy.
later, because then it became, and it what has something to do with which pieces were composed and where it was commissioned to. So you got a point there. The aesthetic was based on who was running that specific era. So
Right.
and because Russia, you said, because Russia is such a very influential country to
Yeah.
introduce and really spread it, it became
Yeah.
the official, kind of like
Right.
formula. So yeah,
Yeah.
but thank you. Yeah. Anyway,
But
you not want
also,
to
maybe we shouldn't also deny that maybe it's like society's idea of aesthetics has also changed
add that?
throughout the years also. So
I know.
maybe both kind of go hand in hand, and like, and that, chicken or the egg.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Now, before now, I'm gonna show you a few pictures and also a clip. But we're gonna see some candid photos, and then she's gonna tell us the three candid photos. She's gonna, something fun, so it's not always about
Okay,
business. So,
I'm ready for
tell me
it.
about this one.
Okay, so this one was in the backstage for Dance for Life Chicago. So I don't know if you know Dance for Life. It's a great fundraising gala, one show deal, and it's it's a great fundraiser, and all of the dance community in Chicago like really come together and do a really great show. And Todd Rosenberg, who is a great photographer, he has photographed the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and some other like football teams. He was there, and Joffrey works closely with Todd, and so it was like, oh, Todd, like, hello, and then he would just like snap pictures, like just very candidly. So this was really fun.
And then now this next one.
Okay, this one's a cool one. Okay, so the story of this one is there was like myself and that man behind me. We were both invited to do a little project with Rush University Medical Center. And it was about, they were studying body movements, and so like in the actual performance we were in these like black unitards, and like we even had, did I have a hat? I had a headband, and there were sensors on different joints of my body, and then as I was dancing,
Wow.
they were projecting like these avatars of us just like moving around. It was a really really cool experience, and this photo actually was our was the first time, and actually the only time we actually went into their space, because they had all the sensors in this like big giant lab, and then we tried it on, like they put the sensors on us, and we just tried a few things out and see if it would bother us too much if we had them on. I mean, it was such a great experience. I really like that one.
And what about this one? Oh, you look so happy, like you won again.
I don't know if I was actually really happy here. So I remember this rehearsal. It was a Giselle rehearsal with Dylan in the back. He's my partner for Giselle. And we were just rehearsing, and and Giselle's a really demanding ballet, and so maybe I was just getting corrections, and I don't know, maybe something was fun that happened, or inside jokes. I don't know.
So this is the gazelle that
This is the Giselle, yes,
yeah, and
and
then
it
now
has
we're
a
gonna show
very
a
sad story.
yeah, and then now we're gonna show a clip. I mean, what's that? Christine could actually tell us more about the Giselle, but we'll just show the clip because she will actually
Sure.
on this interview excerpt, she will
Mhm.
actually talk more about Giselle. So here it is, Giselle.
Giselle falls in love, very deeply in love, only to find out that her love is betrothed to someone else and it drives her mad. It's so special because that character just feels so much emotion, and ultimately that leads to her death. It's an ultimate love story. And even as I talk about it, I feel the goosebumps like forming in my skin.
For any dancer in their career, the best opportunities are when you're dancing a full-length classical. They're the most difficult because of the technicality that you need for it, and also the story and drama and acting that you need to portray and come across. But it's kind of finding that balance of letting the story flow through your steps and flow through your pantomime.
I'm just really, really excited to explore that story and also to see what it is that I have to say as an artist within that role.
God, it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, look at that. Oh, they're gonna see my panties. Anyway, that was awesome. You know what's one of the things I noticed about you on doing that is this is very, very signature of Filipinos. I know I'm putting us in this high pedestal, but we are very expressive, and I could see the expression of your eyes and your forehead, like it's extending through your movement. It's like, oh my God, I could see that. I'm like, oh my God, it's such a Filipino thing to have. It's
Yeah.
like, great, right?
Actually, because I feel like Filipinos are just very passionate people.
Exactly. I mean, I can see that's like, because I've seen ballet dancers do this, and you could see their emotion. But for us, you see this like, oh my God, this is like, it's like they're not portraying a character. I feel like you are the character. Even during rehearsal, I'm thinking, ah!
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I know, it's like, it's so loud. It's like people are gonna be like. So we're gonna show a few more pictures of
Yeah.
what Giselle what
Mm.
Christine has done. And this is Winter Fairy in Cinderella. So what is your character in this though?
Okay, so in Cinderella, I actually got to be Cinderella, and then I became Winter Fairy, and I also did Summer Fairy.
Oh,
Actually, remember when we were talking about like the roles being given to like, different hierarchy of
yeah.
ranks? So actually, it was only my second year. I already got my featured role as the Summer Fairy in Cinderella, and that was a huge deal for me because I was
Yeah.
really young. It was only my second year in the company, and Summer Fairy, it's very demanding. Like, for women in Cinderella, you go Cinderella, godmother, and then the fairies. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it was a big deal. And then the next time we did Cinderella again, I got to perform Cinderella. And then the third time as well, I was still Cinderella, and then added Winter Fairy into the
So,
roles that I performed.
tell us like a little bit, like I'm gonna put it back there.
Mm.
In Cinderella and this, right? So what do the summer and the winter fairy do in Cinderella in this specific story? Just, if you
Uh,
could.
so they're just fairies, extra fairies that help the
Which scene?
godmother.
Which scene does it happen? Like
So,
which scene?
like in her transformation, like just right before the transformation. So, so the fairy godmother like appears, and then like as part of the magic, she calls on like all these other fairies, and then all the other star fairies, and then the next thing you see, pumpkin blasts, and then
Okay, good.
explodes,
So at
and
least
then
I think people
carriage.
know, like, yeah, for us, it's like I've never seen this. Like, we're not familiar with this based on the cartoons and the movies. Like, okay, so this appears during that scene of the story. So now this is the Nutcracker. And when I saw this, I mean, like, are you sure this is not like an episode of So You Think You Can Dance?
No, totally not.
So
Actually,
tell us about your character here in Nutcracker and the premise of this specific scene.
so Nutcracker, I mean, I feel like Nutcracker is probably the introduction to everybody's love for ballet at some point, I think. But anyway, so we revamped our whole Nutcracker. We have a new Nutcracker now, and it's choreographed by Christopher Wheeldon. And I originated this part of Arabian. And I have to say that this is like absolutely an incredible padida that Christopher Wheeldon created. It always like I give myself a really good pat in the back because every night that Arabian is getting performed, like it really brings the audience to like yeah, like a huge applause. It like brings down the house essentially
Wow.
every single time. And so like even like with other casts, um the house always erupts in like applause, and then I just like give myself a pat on the back because I helped create that padida.
So
And
what style of class? Was this pure classic
it
ballet?
was, yeah, it was definitely just, it's definitely ballet. I mean, Christopher Wheeldon has his own like I would say language with Parida. It's very intimate, it's very tactile, like their bodies are very close, and it's like it's there's a lot of touch. And but also Arabian's very known to be a little bit more sultry. I mean, if you hear the music, it's already in the undertones that you're gonna be in for like a mysterious like journey throughout Arabian. So it's always kind of sensual and like really like gooey, and like the physicality is long and stretched out. So it's
Now
a
we
really
go,
cool padida.
and then now we go to this last picture that we have. This is called Fool's Paradise. Tell us, you is this also in with Joffrey?
Yes, this is also with Joffrey. This is actually also choreographed by Christopher Wheeldon. This one is an abstract piece, but it kind of feels like there's like kind of an arc to it. It's very beautiful. It's like just really serene, but also requires a lot of physicality. So it's very challenging. This photo right here is taken from the main parada of Fool's Paradise. I also got to perform the fast parada of this piece, and it's just great fun. And I'm also dancing with Dylan here. I get to partner with him a lot, which has been a great time. It's been fun.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, oh, look at that. It's like I love it because with the title, it's like I'm really, really good getting really good at this interviewing him because I'm able to because every once in a while I'm thinking, okay, how much time? Because my goal has always been like, if I'm gonna have an interview, it'll be like 45 minutes and then last five
Mm-hmm.
minutes to end. And I've always been ending like 55 minutes, which is good. But the more I cover a lot, the more I can actually ask even more, casual questions or, fun questions. Like I'm gonna ask Christine right now. How? Oh yeah, we're Filipinos and we grew up in the Philippines, but we live here, and there are certain things about the Philippines that we miss, right? But
Yeah.
it's always most especially when it's Christmas. So I already know some of what you're gonna say, and then people have heard it already. But what are the certain things about Christmas in the Philippines that you miss? But before you answer that, I just want to do a shout out. Someone named Carla Mamorno
Oh,
Core.
that's my friend. Hi, Carla. Hi, Lala.
There you go. That's
She and I were in gymnastics together. So we were teammates from a long time ago.
talk about gymnastics. Like, and you could even any any memory with Carla that you could share us. Like, it's like like shenanigans, maybe. Come on.
Yeah, sure. There was one time, I don't remember. It was probably a birthday, but we decide. I'm not quite sure what happened, but we decided in the end that we were gonna go to the hot springs in Laguna, and um, but it was pouring rain. It was like I think there might have been a typhoon that time, but I really wanted to
Yeah.
go. And Carla and Lala was like the person that was in the car with me, and then I think we ended up not going. We ended up turning back around because the weather was so bad. But But obviously there were other great memories, but somehow that one stuck to mind because we were just like
Oh my
stuck in the
God.
car, and
Yeah,
I
there was. And
remember just thinking,
I
oh,
know.
this rain.
I think, let me see what she says. Like, oh my God, she said it was your cousin's house in Batangas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she
So it
remembers.
was, so I remember it was, we were supposed to have a trip, and then
That's awesome. That's
rain.
awesome. Now, like, okay, now going back to what it's like Christmas in the
Christmas.
Philippines. What
Mm-hmm.
what what do you miss? I do have a question. I do have something that I miss as well, which I will probably talk about during Christmas Eve. But what do you miss, and what? Yeah, so let's go with that. What do you miss in the Philippines? Christmas in the Philippines.
Honestly, what I miss the most is just being with my parents. I haven't celebrated Christmas with my parents since 2004. And, you know, my Christmases in the Philippines were actually really weird. Like for the last few years before I moved to Chicago, Ballet Manila and Star City had a collaboration, and they produced 30-minute performances called Circus de Ballet. So I was part of that show, and during Christmas, we would go up to 12 shows that night. And even on Christmas Eve, we would rack up like 10 shows. And it was also the same for New Year's. So, like, our Christmases were always cut short in that sense, but it was always really comforting to have my parents. And, but even before those Christmas gigs started happening, um, I mean, I think it boils down to just missing my parents, and also I love puto bumbong, and I can't find it here.
No, I know. And then you get it here, Puto Bumbong. Somebody needs to, I'm gonna research it, and then I'm gonna put it on my show on Christmas Eve, because it's yes, and you usually eat it at like 6 a.m. in the morning because it's after the mass.
No,
Have you?
I never really did simbang gabi.
Okay, so Christmas Mass, Simbang Gabi. Simbang Gabi literally means night mass, right? But
Yeah, midnight
they
mass.
don't they never do it at midnight. What they do is Simbang Gabi is never at night. It's at before dawn, before dawn. So it's like
Like
they would
3 a.m., right?
5 a.m., 5:30. So that when it's done, um, there are people selling food outside. And
Outside,
that's
yeah.
that's the first time I actually ate puto bongbong. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
anyway,
so good.
so oh wait, what is that? Carla had another comment here, and then you can tell us like sneaking food in Hotel Indonesia.
Oh my gosh, that's right. We always
What
did that.
happened
We
there?
always tried to get like junk food. Okay,
Ah,
Indonesia, I mean, in any international trip, actually, like we would, we love junk food. And I think whenever we would go to international destinations, we would have the luxury of getting like a little bit of per diem.
yeah.
And, you know, we would just buy it, use it on junk food.
Oh my God. So one of the things I do is like if they replace something in the hotel every day, that's something that I could take home. I actually take it from whether it's the bathroom or the closet sometimes. I'm not gonna say where or what it is, or else I'm gonna get into trouble. But I'm just saying, let's just say I stayed at a hotel, and it's a shopping, like one of those reusable bags, and it folds. Oh, it's really good,
Yeah.
and we still use it. I'm gonna show it to you, but I'm not gonna show the brand like this. And
Oh
it has pockets.
yeah.
So, and they're foldable. So I took it one time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna use it. And then the next day, I saw someone replace it, and I'm like, and I was at that place for like a month. I didn't get every single one, but I think I took home with me at least 15 to 20 because they keep. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it, but I'm not gonna say where or when. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
just keep that to yourself.
And the cool thing is, and those are the kind of things that when I went home, it's like, oh, you want a reusable bag because it had pockets? It's like
Yeah.
good pasalubong, which is like good gifts for people.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's the trick. If you find something
Mm-hmm.
that's that doesn't perish, or it doesn't have to be like bath accessory. Get it as a gift. So I get, you know what? We've covered most of the stuff. Oh yeah, this is something I never covered. And then you, no, 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 we don't have to talk about that one. I was thinking, yeah, it's fine. I want bulk salad. Okay, so it it auto corrected. He wants buko salad.
Oh, that's delicious.
LOL,
That's,
buko.
I actually would like, I miss buko pandan also.
Buko pandan. Yeah, so
Yeah.
for everyone, if anyone here is in Chicago, there are places to go in Chicago for Filipino food. We got two
In
Jollibees.
our neighborhood,
Huh?
there's one in our neighborhood, Kubo.
Kubo.
Have you
Kubo
been?
is a Kubo. Yes,
Kubo, yeah, Kubo
that's
on
across the
Belmont,
theater that I performed
stage
in.
7. Yeah. Oh, you performed there?
Yeah, there's. Did I tell you about the calamansi martini?
Oh, I haven't had it.
Amazing! I'm
Okay,
telling
I'm
you,
gonna have to try
calamansi
it.
martini. Imagine, guys, calamansi. Imagine an orange and a
A
lime
lime.
together, and it's this small of a fruit. It's like sweet and sour at the same. It's amazing. It's
It's
amazing, and
delicious.
that's the one we use
But
to
the
what?
magic combo is calamansi and soy sauce. That's
Yes,
my
dipping sauce.
favorite combo. Yeah, dipping
Yeah.
sauce.
And then also, so if you're in Chicago, because that's where I am, and then that's where Christine is, there are
Mm-hmm.
places to go for food. I mean, there's also Bahay natin, or it's like the one on Montrose. It's actually a
Oh, I haven't been there.
fusion. It is a fusion. And then there's also, we have a seafood city here, like the one is in California,
Yeah.
and it's the one on Elston, and they have Jollibee, and now they have a lot of stuff there.
Max. I still have to try the
Max is
Max's
next
over
to it.
there.
Yes, Max's restaurant is next to it. I mean, right now they're closed because of the pandemic.
Hmm.
But by the way, Unimart is not Unimart anymore.
What?
It is called Bacolod's Best Kitchen now. Just so you know. Just so
Oh,
people
because
know.
it's not a grocery anymore. The grocery
It's
stuff
kind of, no,
closed.
they're gonna try, they're renovating. They may have grocery, but it's now Bacolod's Best Kitchen. So it's BBK. So remember that BBK.
And
BBK.
it's not affiliated with Chicken Bacolod House,
No,
like
no.
way up north.
Yeah. By the way, BBK in English means you are very gay. It translates to baklang bakla ka.
What is
Anyway.
he talking about?
Oh.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I guess we've covered everything. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm so glad I'm able to get a hold of you. I know you just, got there last night, and then you're gonna have, like, a nice vacation. But I'm glad that we're able to do this before you start getting tired from your vacation and getting busy and sleeping in. You know what I mean, though? And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have everyone back. I'm still debating. I really want to have an all Tagalog Filipino interview, and a lot
Yeah.
of people who don't speak the language, don't understand it, will probably find it hard or probably skip it. But I'm gonna try to see if I could do it, because the humor, there's, yes, Filipinos are known for being very humorous and having a really great sense of humor. But
Yeah.
it is even more sense of humor, more humorous when we speak in our own language, because we
Yeah,
have
it just doesn't translate well.
translate. I mean, the jokes and everything doesn't translate. So before, like I said, thank you for coming. And before I let you go, I let
Hmm.
all my guests do this. This is called the wow moment. We're gonna give the wow moment, means words of wisdom. Now, for you, maybe I could ask you, especially with aspiring dancers, whether it's pre or post pandemic, what can you words of wisdom and advice to, because we're still in the arts, to, like, aspiring dancers and performers, so take it away, and thanks again, Christine.
I would just say that, especially like for artists to create your own opportunities when you have the means to do it, because I believe that it's always a numbers game, that if you create the chances, there are more chances that you'll get something big and be really rewarding. And whether it's like a job or like a freelance audition, just you want to make sure that you present yourself as much as you can, and hopefully you get the best opportunity possible. And that's it from me. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Goodbye. Wait, I'll come back to you, Christine, once this show is over. Again, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And look at that. We made good time. Again, I'd like to remind everyone this is a nightly live stream via Facebook at Roro the Tenor, or YouTube. You can subscribe. It's a Filipino tenor. Make sure it's spelled right with an F. Filipino tenor. And again, it's every night, Monday to Saturday, from at 10:01 p.m. Pacific, 12:01 a.m. Central, and 1:01 a.m. Eastern. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Roro the Tenor. And you can send me Venmo, 50 cents. You know those 50 cents. If people start sending 50 cents, that's going to be great. And as always, I like to end my show with a little ditty. La 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 la